Now, here we are 34 years later, and we're making that comic that I was writing then as a huge Netflix series.
You know, this comic is one of 4 that has ever been featured on the New York Times bestsellers list, and I think that part of the reason for that is that it transcends just being a comic. I think when a lot of people think about comics, they're like, oh, that's not for me, I'm not into superheroes. Whereas I think what we were presented with in the Sandman is very, very humanistic ideas explored through this collection of superhuman, supernatural beings, these concepts essentially.
And Lucien, who is the trusted guardian, right, of Dream's world. So help us set the premise. What is going awry in this world?
Morpheus has been brutally captured and imprisoned for a century and has lost his powers. So because he's lost his power, that means that it's affected the dreaming, it's crumbling, people have fled because they haven't got their master, their king. All the books, the words have disappeared in the universe, the world. People have got this sleepy sickness. Everything is in disarray.
How do you feel like you connect to your character?
As a fan, I was aware of the films that all of the fans who'd read it had already made in their heads. And I was aware of the massive responsibility I had in doing justice to the Morpheus that was in the films in their head.
Definitely.
And that there is a through line between that feeling of responsibility of their dreams of Morpheus and Morpheus's responsibility for everyone's dreams. It's not comparable in scale, but still that burden was the start of my kind of investigation into him.
The burden of a century, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mason, you play a Desire, which you would think it's lush and exciting, but your character is actually also slightly cruel, right? Casually cruel. How did you go about developing the character?
Well, I thought about how desire as a concept plays in, the day-to-day life of the human experience, and it is both love and excitement and need and happiness, and also horrible and cruel and cold and calculated. And so I was gifted this incredible part.
And especially your characters, I want to talk about death, right? This character is known as the sensible sister.
Yeah.
So talk to us about a sensible death.
I'm so excited for new fans who are just discovering the Sandman through this show, who will probably come in with a very clear preconceived notion of what death is because of all the reference that they've seen before, but will be completely surprised by this character who is a complete subversion of any other idea of death. She's not the Grim Reaper, she's not mean, she's actually probably someone that you'd like to go and have a drink with.
So Boyd, you literally play a nightmare, right? Who's a little self-indulgent. What was it like to play this character? What made this character special for you?
The character is who has a second lease on life. He's been an indentured servant to our Morpheus, the creator of our dreaming world, and so now he's just really enjoying every moment that he has in the waking world.
He's taking it all in, right?
Absolutely.
And my last question, if you could be any of the endless family members, there's desire, there's death, etc., who would you be and why?
Come on, just say it, come on. There's only one, come on.
I would be...
There's only one, come on.
I would be death.
I'm a workaholic, so I think I would be Dream.
Okay.
I think I'd be Destruction, actually.
Of course you would.
Because Destruction, he's the one who leaves the family, and he's kind of he's wandering around the world having a good time. And that's what I like.
Enticing, right?
That's me. I just want to wander around the world and have a good time.
I would definitely be Death. I mean, that's what this comic does. It inspires these conversations that, what happens to consciousness after you die? Where do we go? And it really spawns all these wonderful conversations.
I would love to be Desire because I feel like Desire is in many ways the freest and most liberated of all of the endless, which is what drives Desire nuts about the rest of the endless.
So speaking about the waking world and the dream world, right? Have you guys ever considered dreams as like a premonition or tied into reality in some way?
I definitely have. I believe dreams have significance, and I do have a lot of deja vu where I've literally seen it before, and I'm just like, oh wow, this is really trippy.
My nan was incredibly superstitious, even though she was religious, although the two can sort of live alongside each other. You know, what is religion if not superstition?
Definitely.
But my nan used to believe that if you dreamt of fishes, that someone was pregnant, and she would have a dream of fishes. And I kid you not, I once dreamt of fishes, and then my brother a couple months later told me that his girlfriend was pregnant with my niece. And it is I was like, she's given me her gift. Doesn't always happen, but my nan was like, and I actually remember the first time she had like a dream of fishes, and she called my mum, I was here, and she was like, Kirby's pregnant. And my mum called me, and I was like, no. And that was the first time my brother had a kid.
Wow, you don't question it after that, right?
No, you don't question your grandma for stuff. You definitely don't question, period.
Definitely.